Hi everyone, welcome to the video. I woke up this morning, looked out the window and it was a bright blue sunny day, and to my surprise and delight we hadn't all perished in a Russian nuclear fireball overnight. So I thought I'll take this opportunity and make a microstock monthly earnings video. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for their well wishes. I mentioned last episode that I was suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome and I wasn't going to be able to upload stock photos or videos for quite a while, and that turned out to be true. For the entire month of March and also I think a bit of February, I didn't upload any photos or videos. And I thought it was a great opportunity to see how passive my microstock portfolio income is. And it was quite surprising to see that after more than a month of not uploading or not working on my stock photography or videography, that it did actually provide a form of passive income. And of course I'm going to tell you all about that during today's episode. But before I do that, I'll just tell you what I've been up to in the month of March. And one of the things I had been up to is rediscovering this Benro video monopod. At the moment it's got this Manfrotto ball head on it because I'm using the Benro video head to film here right now. But it's a great tool for creating stock videos, and it's a lot more versatile than a tripod. So that was one of the great things that I discovered in March that I will be using to increase my stock footage portfolio for the coming future. I used this originally to film weddings, and then I put it aside and I totally forgot about it for over 2 years, and it was pretty silly because these things are ideal for making videos. And another thing that I did in the month of March was I went down to a little island in the south, which I do quite a lot, and I made a couple of photos of a very unique image, which was a child's or a children's penny farthing, or I think it's called an independent or a high wheeler, and it was just placed on a wall outside a house. And that was one of the few photos that I made during the month of March. I also discovered on the 1st of April, instead of being greeted with a Russian nuclear fireball like I was expecting, or another April Fool's joke, I looked out the window and I saw that the ground and trees were totally covered in snow. So I immediately grabbed my camera and went out, and I made a ton of snow portraits or compositions, and I also made some videos of life happening during snow. It took me a while to get the white balance correct, and some of the images and videos the white balance was totally off because with snow you have to overexpose by 1 or 2 stops. But once I got that down pat, I went into the forest and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to make some book cover photos. So on the tripod I left the camera on a 10-second timer and I just photographed myself looking stoic and menacing in this snow-covered forest. So that's a few things that I've been up to in March, other than suffering from tennis elbow or carpal tunnel syndrome. It is getting better after 3 physio appointments, and I'm thinking that in the month of April I'll be uploading photos and videos again, but not quite to the tempo that I'd been doing previously until it fully recovers. Okay, a number of people have been asking me when I will talk about Wirestock again, and over the last 3 or 4 episodes of my channel I hadn't been talking about Wirestock simply because nothing's been happening. But because people are showing interest and they're curious about what progress I've made, I've done a full rundown of the progress I've made with Wirestock so far. So here are the numbers. My portfolio consists of 215 photos in Wirestock and 33 videos, and this is over a period of about 3 to 4 months. I've been uploading very rarely in the last 2 months. When I first started, I uploaded at least 120 images all at once just to get the ball rolling and to see what would happen. And since then I've probably uploaded three to a dozen photos. So my total earnings since I started on Wirestock 3 or 4 months ago is $10.85. And I'll break that down. I had 25 downloads which consisted of Wirestock bonus, whatever that is. Wirestock gives me a bonus for those photos, and for those 25 downloads I earned $5 from the Wirestock bonus. I had 5 downloads from Shutterstock, and that earned me a total of $4.95. I had 3 downloads for deposit photos, which earned me 89 cents. Okay, just going into the details of those photo sales. The Shutterstock sales, one of them was the industrial harbour of Rotterdam, and that sold for $3.87. Another 2 photos were of flood damage that were taken in the southern Limburg town of Valkenburg, which got completely flooded out by the river overflowing. And those 2 photos earned me $1.13. Okay, and the last sale that I made was of a ship in Rotterdam Harbour, and that was sold on deposit photos for 30 cents. Okay, so that's the overall performance of Wirestock, and now I'm going to get into my other agency earnings for the month of March. And this is going to give you a very good idea of how much passive income I earned for March without lifting a finger and doing anything. We'll start off with iStock Getty. With iStock Getty, I've got 2,000 images in my portfolio and about 135 videos. I made 3 video sales for Getty iStock, and one of those was of a porpoise washed up on the beach, and the other 2 were of the usual gannet. Overall, I earned $14.34 for iStock Getty. Okay, now I'll get into my small fish agencies, so I'll cluster them together. And when I say small fish, I mean the agencies that don't earn a lot, but together they create a single amount. So that is Dreamstime, IEM, 123RF, Big Stock and Can Stock. In total for those small agencies, I earned $11.42. Okay, now the highlights for those agencies. We'll start with Dreamstime, and all of the sales on Dreamstime were of 35 cents. One of the photos I really liked that I sold was of a piece of Dover sole, which I'd eaten and just left the skeleton of the fish on the plate, and I thought that will make a fantastic stock photo, and it did. And that sold on Dreamstime as a commercial photo for 35 cents. I also sold 2 photos of the 2015 Sydney to Hobart International Yacht Race that finished in Hobart Harbour, and those also sold for 35 cents each. They were both editorial. Deposit Photo had two sea bass photos, which I really like for some reason. I really like photos of fish and nature and animals. And also a classic car, in this case a red VW coupe, and they sold for 25 cents and 30 cents. 123RF sold a commercial photo for $1.25 of some daffodils. And Big Stock sold an editorial photo of some country letterboxes which are on Bruny Island near Hobart in Tasmania, and that sold for 25 cents. And also of an Anglican church, which is an old 19th century wooden church on Bruny Island. That one was an editorial. Okay, now on to Pond5, and I think about 3 months ago I sold a video for $64 on Pond5, and since that time I haven't sold any assets whatsoever, so that's been really disappointing. I will be uploading more videos to Pond5. I've been creating videos and they've just been sitting on my hard drive for a couple of months now, so I really have to pull my thumb out and get those uploaded. Now on to Shutterstock, where I have 2,315 photos and 135 videos in my portfolio. In the month of March I had 56 sales. Some of the highlights for Shutterstock were two photos that I made in Tasmania about 4 years ago probably. Actually it would have been a lot longer, it would have been 5 or 6 years ago. And they were taken at the summit of Mount Wellington, which is a mountain that hangs over the back of the city of Hobart. And I took those photos in the late evening, just of the views and the people that congregated around the spectacular summit of that mountain. Those two photos sold for $3.60 each, and they were both editorial photos. Another highlight was taken of vibrant pink and I think red or dark pink tulip flowers, which were taken also many years ago in the Dutch commercial tulip fields near Lissa, and that photo sold for 56 cents as a commercial photo. Another photo, which was an editorial photo this time, was of a tree that had been blown over a road after a recent storm, and that photo sold for 22 cents. And there was also an editorial photo of some sheep grazing in the nearby dunes of The Hague, and that earned me 85 cents. Now, the biggest highlight I think for Shutterstock in the month of March was taken also again in Tasmania in Australia, in a town called Richmond. And I spotted this orange Ford Falcon car that was parked on the side of the road near this beautiful old building that was a bakery. And I took the photo because it reminded me of one of my oldest friends who passed away many years ago, and he always took great pleasure in hooning around in one of these cars. And that photo, which is an editorial photo, earns me $15.73. So thanks, Dave, for the inspiration for that one. Another inspirational photo, not so much, was of a sandworm. It's almost a semi-macro photo, this one. I was walking along the beach and there were a lot of fishermen around, and I think this sandworm had been used as bait by one of the fishermen and had floated off the hook and washed up onto the beach, and it was just lying there on the sand. So I took the opportunity just to get a really close shot with my Sigma 17 to 50mm lens, f2.8, which can also take semi-macro photos. And that simple sandworm photo earned me $3.41. Another commercial photo, the sandworm photo was commercial as well, of the daffodils during the flower season, and that earned me $1.83. And another commercial photo of wildlife in the dunes of The Hague, and this one was of a very rarely seen northern shrew. It was just propped up on top of this wooden post in the dunes, It was as dead as a dodo, unfortunately. Someone had just put it up there, I think. It was such a rare sight, and I took some photos of it thinking it was alive, and the closer I got, I realised it wasn't. So I took some very close-up shots as well. And just that photo was so interesting to me, it sold for 22 cents as a commercial photo. The low light of Shutterstock for the month of March was that I did not sell any videos on that agency, which is extremely rare. Usually I sell 1, 2 or 3 videos, often for not much money, but at least they're sold. But the biggest selling asset for March in Shutterstock was of that Ford Falcon for $15.73. No video sales. In total for Shutterstock for the month of March, I earned $40.56. Okay, let's get on to one of my favourite agencies now, and that's Adobe Stock, even though it hasn't been performing too well for me lately. On Adobe Stock, I've got just over 1,048 images and 43 videos. In March, I had 22 downloads, and in total, I earned $15.27 on Adobe Stock. Some of the highlights were a commercial image of a fairly close-up shot of a box of smoked eels that I saw at a market nearby. And that was sold for 99 cents. Another was of a commercial shot I took while doing a review of the Canon Super Zoom 24 to 240 millimeter lens with the Canon RP mirrorless body. And I saw this charger with the Tesla vehicle, and I photographed it. And in Lightroom, I took away all the logos so that I could sell it as a commercial image rather than an editorial image. And I sold that for $1.33. Another highlight was I sold 5 commercial images of flowers. They were tulips. I think they were tulips. They were definitely daffodils, and there may have been 1 or 2 tulip shots in there. But that was great that I sold so many flower photos commercially on Adobe. Another editorial photo this time, and that was of a VW combi van. So I was really glad to see that photo sell with this beautiful Airstream silver caravan behind it, and that sold for $1.34 as an editorial image. Okay, and now to my most successful agency for the month of March, and that was Alamy. And Alamy, I think, has been one of my most successful agencies for a couple of recent months, actually. It was really strange. I'd been keeping an eye on Alamy sales all month, and the only sale that I had got was of a $3 editorial sale of a child's hand lighting this big, dangerous firework. And that sold for $3.19 as an editorial image. And right up to the last day of March, nothing else sold. So I was just looking at Alamy so I could calculate how much I had earned for the month of March. And I saw on the 31st that I sold another editorial photo, but this time for $38.32. And this editorial photo was also of that VW camper van with this beautiful Airstream caravan behind it. And it sold for $38.32. So VW photos have been doing very well for me in the month of March. In total for Alamy, I earned $41.51. So how much money did I earn for the month of March? Well, I earned $123.34. And that, in this case, was truly passive income because I didn't do any work for it because of my arm injury. Microstock in its nature is not truly passive as an income though. You have to put in work, and you have to keep doing that consistently in order to earn money. But it shows that you can take a month or two off, or maybe even 3 months, and still earn money. So you know how much money it is possible to earn as a passive income when you don't do any work. I've been doing microstock for 5 or 6 years now, and in the first 4 years I was uploading every week up to 50 images. That has slowly gone down since I've been doing this YouTube channel. My portfolios range from 300 to 400 images to over 2,000 images with Shutterstock and Alamy. So that gives you an idea of how much money I earned with my sized portfolio. I don't have a huge portfolio, so I hope that is helpful to you guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hopefully my uploads will increase now my arm is improving. Let me know how your March went, and I look forward to hearing about it in the comments. All the best, and look after yourselves. Bye.
Sometimes dream about you all the time, and in my dreams you make me feel